Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. William Samoei Ruto is still cursing the devil that cost Raila the African Union Commission seat. Because William Ruto had a clear plan that after Raila won that seat, he would come back to the supporters of Raila Odinga and take the bragging right that, I took Tinga to the AUC. After that loss, William Ruto has tried to do certain damage control. They are not explaining enough why Raila Odinga lost. They have found some blame game, some scapegoat. Number one, they are saying that Uhuru Kenyatta went there overnight and undid everything that William Ruto had managed to overcome within the 1 year that he was campaigning. And they're saying that it is Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, who sweet-talked the other African presidents to reject Raila Odinga. Of course, that is not true. That is the nature of Kenya Kwanza. They have to look for something. They have to look for a narrative to justify a failure, a fiasco, a setback. Number two, they realize that they do not have any tangible reason to explain to the people why William Ruto used a huge amount of money, yet Raila still lost. Now, what are they saying? They are telling us that some people celebrated when Raila lost the AU seat, and therefore, that is a justification to support William Ruto. That he tried, that they drove in the same car with Raila Odinga. So they do not have any reason at all. But experts are not leaving any breathing space to them. And experts are telling William Ruto, you shot yourself with a gun. Because you sponsored Raila Odinga, yet you allowed the other African states to look at Raila as your project, to look at the AUC as a dumping site, because you wanted to push Raila there so that he can exit the Kenyan political space. And they're also telling him, you poked your nose into people's businesses like the Congo War, allowing rebels to launch their parties around. You allowed Kizza Besigye to be abducted from your own soil at a time when you wanted to endear yourself to the other African presidents who at some point were opposition leaders. And this was a tall order to you. And they're telling William Ruto that you took bad mannerism from Kenya, going there to celebrate Bado Mapambano, where other African, heads of states were quiet, looking at your demeanor. And that was the manifestation of arrogance. So William Ruto cannot escape this. And this has taken them to the drawing board. Because William Ruto knew very well that after Raila gets that seat, that it was gonna be an automatic endorsement. But Raila came back and announced that he is consulting, meaning that he is not yet decided. Even if he's decided, but we can report that he's not courageous enough to tell us that he's supporting William Ruto. He's still telling us that he's going to consult friends, relatives, party supporters to come up with a solution. In fact, on 28th, on Friday, the ODM party is going to celebrate its 20th birthday in Busia, I think. And from there, we are going to look at the vector, whether Raila is going to support President Ruto or not. As this is happening, ODM is actually divided. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to humbly report to you that William Ruto is under siege. And the person giving William Ruto headache and sleepless nights is Rigathi Gachagua. Apparently, there was only one conversation that Raila wanted to support William Samoei Ruto. That support is still packaged in a clandestine manner It is still sealed. We do not know what it is. Whether it is a proposal, whether they have come up with a final idea. But the man from Wamunyoro has decided that he's not going to let William Ruto set the conversation around Raila Amolo Odinga. And he has also created a conversation ahead of Raila's big announcement. The Wamunyoro is telling Raila Odinga that remember, as you consult, you are sitting on a 6.8 million votes. Whatever you do with that information is up to you. If you feel that you are going to hand over 6.8 million votes on a silver platter, then someone convinces you to retire, it's upon you. But for us, the lake can meet the mountain and we can birth something out of it. Now, sources are saying that there are emissaries that have been sent to Karen home to try and persuade Raila Amolo Odinga to think otherwise, to rethink the idea of supporting someone, yet he can get it for himself. And I'm told that sources are telling Raila that William Ruto has lost support from Kenyans. He has lost a considerable number of votes. Take, for example, the mountain votes. And William Ruto is becoming the most unpopular president in the country. So Raila is being reminded that it is your time. You either take it or leave it. Now I want you to listen to Rigathi Gachagua praising Raila Amolo Odinga, something that he's never done before, showering Raila with praises, and then sending some of the members that are allied to him to warn William Ruto that Raila is not going to support you with your unpopular policies and ideas. Tell me what you make out of this.
I do admire Raila Odinga and ODM. We may have had problems with Raila Odinga, but give it to him. He crafted a very serious political machine that has been there for 20 years. Again, the quality of leaders that are elected at the ODM is admirable. In fact, I will be going to ODM for benchmarking. I must talk to Raila Odinga. I must ask him, Mzee, how did you craft this machine? How have you kept it going for 20 years? You know, ODM is admirable.
But I want to tell the president this. You have been there and have been there. You have seen now two groups in ODM. Raila amekutegea pale. Wale waongea hivi, wengine waseme watakushika kama smiti. But I can assure you, Raila is not going to support things that you are doing that don't coincide with the public. Raila does what the public want.
When that is happening, William Ruto is almost in a state of bewilderness, in a state of confusion. He is busy announcing to the people that we have crafted a plan and we are working with the opposition.
Mambo ya uchaguzi tulimalizana nayo. Mimi nimekubali ya kwamba tutengeneze serikali ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Hata wale walikuwa upinzani, tumekubaliana na wao wakuje tufanye pamoja. Ndio tuendeshe Kenya pamoja, kusiwe na ubaguzi, kusiwe na wale wamefungiwa nje. Sisi wote tuungane kwa pamoja. Waswahili wanasema umoja ni nini? Si umoja ni nguvu jameni? Tukiungana kuna makosa. Munasema tuungane ama tutengane? Tufanye kazi pamoja ama tufanye kwa pipande? Pamoja. Hebu niole wanasema tushirikiana tufanye kazi pamoja. Sawa jameni?
Now, Rigathi Gachagua is a man who has learned over the years. People have said he was a dio, he was a dictator, he worked under William Samoei Ruto, he is not a born politician. But I've told you that politicians are not only born, but you can also learn along the way. For example, Wamunyoro is saying that we were duped into supporting William Ruto without a proper plan, without a proper vehicle. We didn't have any political party. And therefore, at some point, we were stopped and we were told, alight and go your way. We did not have a vehicle of our own. And he's now saying that once bitten, twice shy. He's telling Mount Kenya that we must have our party this time round, so that as we get into any alliance, we have learned our mistakes, we must have our party. So he has learned over the years. In fact, William Ruto thought that Rigathi Gachagua was an amateur in politics. Remember, he has locked out William Ruto completely from Mount Kenya. William Ruto thought that Rigathi is another Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru was a prince, born and bred in State House. But Rigathi Gachagua is a go-getter. You know, Uhuru Kenyatta allowed William Ruto to go and capture Mount Kenya. By the time he wanted to take over Mount Kenya, William Ruto had already entrenched himself, had already run the propaganda that Raila didn't mean well for them. But Rigathi is not Uhuru Kenyatta. And Rigathi has shown that William Ruto will never get an iota vote in Mount Kenya. So Rigathi is coming with these votes and is telling Raila, please let us meet and talk. William Ruto on his side is telling Raila Amolo Odinga, you had a handshake with Mount Kenya in 2017, but Uhuru never gave you anything. He promised you some support in 2022, which you didn't get, and therefore I'm the right man. And that is why I'm telling you that Rigathi Gachagua is a real giant in the Kenyan politics. You can't dismiss him because he has already created a conversation that is going on. It was like before he made this pronouncement, we only had one supermarket to shop from, that of William Ruto, and the narrative that we are uniting the country. But Rigathi has opened another supermarket just next to William Ruto and is saying, if we are building the country and we are looking for support, now Raila has to choose. Is he going to choose from you, who is telling him to retire from politics and give him a running mate, or is going to choose from us, who is presenting him the presidency in a silver platter, telling him, we have got 6 million votes and you have 6.8. Come and take it. And that has really confused even the ODM itself. Because let me tell you this, many a times when Raila goes for these handshakes, it is the other leaders that benefit. Raila maybe could benefit in terms of monetary allocations. Maybe if he was given some money, because in politics, it is interest. Maybe his pockets were oiled well. Some people are even saying that perhaps this is the reason why he was in Dubai to invest. But Raila has been contesting since 1992, 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022, a period of 5 times. He's not contesting to be a prime minister. He's not contesting to be an official opposition leader. Raila has been contesting, and I believe winning, to become the president. So when you want Raila to get into a handshake, you want to create for him some offices, the people will be benefiting. For example, if you ask the Luo Nation now, how have you benefited? Why do you want us to support William Ruto? They will tell you, we have been given ministerial posts. But Raila is not in those ministerial posts. His people are. So in all the arrangements, there is nothing that helps Raila. It helps his people. But of course, as a leader, you have to think about your people. But Wamunyoro is telling Raila, you have been contesting to get the presidency. We've maligned your name. But this is the moment, take the presidency. And so Wamunyoro has created a conversation that was never there before. And if you want to know that a person is great and is a giant in the political field, he creates a narrative, he creates a conversation, and people go with it. That is what William Ruto has always done. That is what Raila has always done. So there is some kind of confusion. They have to sit down and now think, do I support Rigathi Gachagua? Do I support William Ruto? Even the government side is worried. Is Raila going to support Wamunyoro, or is going to support? It is a difficult moment for both Raila Amolo Odinga and even the government. There are people who believe this is Raila's moment. Others are saying Raila is facing his twilight days. We should let him rest. But ladies and gentlemen, ahead of this pronouncement, there are hiccups along the way. What can hinder the unity between the lake and the mountain? There is suspicion. There is suspicion that has been deliberately created. And if you ask the Luo Nation, they say, I don't think these people can vote for us. I have been trying to engage people after Wamunyoro made those announcements, and I was asking, do you think they can unite? Some were saying, yes, it can, but I don't think the people of the mountain can vote for us. Others are saying that, in politics, there are no permanent enemies, no permanent friends, just interests. In betrayal, Rigathi has been betrayed by Ruto, and their main interest is to ensure that Ruto is out of power come 2027. If that would be the interest of Raila Odinga, that it is home and dry. So people are divided. That suspicion is what can hinder this kind of unity. There are people from Mount Kenya who are also very suspicious of Raila. And in fact, there is some talk in town after Wamunyoro tried to seduce Raila into a conversation, into a meeting, that if Raila unites with Rigathi Gachagua, then some voters from Mount Kenya will switch immediately to William Samoei Ruto. I don't know how true that is. There are other Luos who are also telling, saying that if Raila supports Rigiji, then I will have to vote for William Ruto. But I can assure you, these are just talks. If Wamunyoro says this is where we are going, 80% will follow him. The other thing is historical pronouncements. You remember it has been said that Mount Kenya people took an oath. Of course, people have told me that this is an archaic oath. It had been dissolved, destroyed, diluted, neutralized. It is no longer there. But there are people who still believe in it. Raila is a scarecrow. And how? I have got friends, not just friends, but some ladies I call shemeji. They're married to some of my cousins in Kisumu. They used to tell me during election year that they are summoned back home. It is that serious, and they are told, yes, the people of Kisumu are our relatives, but when it comes to voting, please vote with us. Don't vote for Raila. I don't want to get to expand that conversation, but I'm just saying that this is a hindrance because you have made people believe that Raila is Shetani. Then you want to turn back and tell them that, now it is the time to vote Raila. It is haunting them. Rigathi, for example, is trying to undo the remarks that he made in 2022, that Raila was responsible for the predicaments of the mountain. Now he's telling them it is William Ruto who sent me to say this. He's telling them we were just trying to play politics. This time round, maybe we can consider Raila. That is also a hindrance. And I want to ask you once again, if these people meet, do you think anything tangible, anything viable, anything that can change this country can be born out of that? Rigathi has sent emissaries to Karen home, and he's seeking for Raila's audience, and he wants to present to him a roadmap, a formula, a blueprint on how they can win 2027 elections. And we are waiting with bated breath to hear Raila's next move, to hear his earthquake. Is he supporting Ruto? Will he support Rigathi Gachagua? What does it portend to the followers of Raila and those of Gachagua? What about Kenya at large? As they meet, are they putting Kenyans' interest at heart on the table, or they will be speaking for their own aggrandizement, for their own selfish benefits. Raila is in the middle. Phone calls from Ruto, phone calls from Rigathi, and of course, together with the other opposition leaders. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Who should Raila listen to? Because there's a lot of tension. Raila is under pressure. All these people are telling them, this is what we want. Please support me. Please support me. Where? Which way Raila Amolo Odinga? Should he go it alone? Should he endorse someone and retire? Should he support Rigathi so that he is given the mantle, the flag bearer, and then he's given a running mate from Mount Kenya? Is it workable? These are questions. And as we wait for Raila to speak, everyone is keen, watching and waiting. A day in politics can change the political direction of a country.